Now, I first met our next guest about 5 years ago. We were both about 12. I had the honour of presenting him with the Pride of Sport Award for Fundraiser of the Year. He was just 10 years old. Alfie's since grown quite a bit, but has continued to work tirelessly to help others, and here he is now today.
Here he is. After Alfie's dad, Keith, sadly took his own life in 2017, Alfie and his mum, Alison, found themselves without support. So in a bid to help other families in the same tragic situation, they set up Alfie Squad.
Now, the organisation has since helped countless other children just like Alfie, and they join us today as they prepare to roll out their amazing work nationwide. It's so lovely to see you both. I can't believe that was 5 years ago. Does that bring back a few memories, Alf?
Yeah, it was good. Really good events, and I loved it.
It was an amazing event, and I think the thing for me is I'm not surprised at all that Alfie Squad is still thriving and flourishing. I'm thrilled that it's going to go nationwide as well, and more people are going to benefit from the hard work that the two of you have put in and the whole team behind it as well. I think the thing that's really, really compelling is it came from such a tough place for you, Alfie, and for you, Alison, as well. Take me back to that time. What do you remember? Because you were only a young lad at the time when, sadly, your dad took his own life.
Yeah, I was only 8, so I can't really remember too much. I just remember feeling really alone and really isolated. I felt like I was the only person in the world who'd lost someone, let alone someone so close to me, to suicide. It's something that's it's not unique by any means, but it's not spoken about much, especially like losing a parent. With Alfie Squad, we don't just deal with people who've lost a parent, but anyone. And so I do just remember feeling alone, and like I didn't really have many people to talk to, because like I had a class full of friends, and then I had my family who all understood, but my mates didn't. But I can't really expect much from 9-year-olds.
Yeah, of course.
But I had my family, but I didn't feel like I had anyone my own age or someone who could experience it exactly. Like, I'm an only child. I didn't know who to turn to, really.
And you said you felt guilty as well because your dad was having mental health issues and you felt guilty that you hadn't noticed, that you hadn't helped him or stopped him.
Yeah. Afterwards, like, when I found out what actually happened, I blamed myself massively. I thought that if I had been a better son, then it wouldn't have happened and my dad wouldn't have done it. Obviously, I know now that that's not the case, but I was only 8. I didn't really know any better, didn't understand how mental health issues and that worked. Yeah. I just thought that if I was being better and if I would have spoke to him more, or if I would have made more of an effort, then maybe he would still be here.
And Alison, the situation must have been obviously so heartbreaking for you because you're dealing with your own loss, and at the same time, it's knowing what to do with your little boy too.
Yeah, well, that was the main problem, that is that I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
I didn't know anyone who'd gone through the same situation as us, and I was really mindful of the fact that I didn't want Alfie to grow up struggling with his mental health because we couldn't give him answers. It was just very isolating. We lost friends who didn't really want their children to be associated with Alfie because of I presume, the stigma of what had actually happened. So it was really, really worrying.
Well, it's also that situation as well where you don't want to make the situation any worse either. You want to get it right and you want to handle it in the right way so that, you know, you can minimise the heartbreak for him too. So what did you do?
One of the first things I decided is that Alfie had to talk as much as possible. I didn't want him bottling anything up. Really? And that actually resulted in, for the first 2 years, well, at least a year and a half, Alfie would come into my room every night and we'd talk for up to an hour every night so we could let everything out before he went to sleep. And, you know, a lot of it was questions that I couldn't answer, but I decided to tell him if I couldn't answer it and I would try and find it out. I just wanted Alfie's questions to be answered. But a lot of it, as Alfie said, was down to his isolation, but also that he was blaming himself. That, you know, if he wasn't a better child, then his dad wouldn't have decided to leave him. And that was the biggest problem we had for a good while. Big
hurdle to overcome for you to understand that actually was no responsibility of yours. So where did the essence of Alfie Squad come from then, Alfie?
So it was around, I lost my dad in the May of 2017, and then in the November, I think it was, we were just out, we went to the shops and we met a homeless man and his dog, and we spoke to him for like a good half an hour or something, just talking about everything. And then after that, I realised that I wanted to help other people because I knew that I was going through such a tough time, but then there's other people who are also going through stuff. And so after seeing that, I wanted to like work something out to try and help others. Initially, it was going to be a Help the Homeless campaign, but eventually we decided to go for something more familiar to us. And Alfie Squad's the only group of its kind, so it's sort of natural. It's what I wanted when I was 8. I wanted people to talk to, and now we've got it.
So tell me about Alfie Squad. Describe it to me and all the different elements of it.
So when visitors come to the group for the first time, they expect something that's like somber and people aren't talking much and it's quite like sad, but it's the complete opposite. Everyone's running, like as soon as you walk in, you've got little 8-year-olds running around everywhere.
Lunatics.
Yeah, basically laughing their heads off.
Good.
It's really nice. It's like a youth club. We've got how many?
There's 26 in the first group now. So we've got 25 new brothers and sisters.
Wow.
So that group is actually full. We started with 7, didn't we?
Yeah.
And the first week they were all really quiet. They wouldn't talk to each other. And now it's like we're full at capacity and it's like a massive family.
And you do all different activities.
Yeah.
Pizza, movies,
Quizzes.
all different things.
Quizzes.
Yeah, we do all different things. So we've done Katumba, which is Brazilian drumming. We've done like a magic workshop. We had a magician come in, do the circus workshop. We do quizzes every now and then, which I always win. Do stuff like a pizza night at the end of each block. Because we work in 8-week blocks, it tends to be 4 external people come in.
Yeah.
Then with
Amazing.
1 trip and then 3 others inside the session. But everyone's at the point now where we don't need activities and everyone just talks. And
I love that. That the energy in the room, the connection has helped so many. Alison, you've been in the Northwest up till now, but you're about to go nationwide, which is extraordinary.
Yes. Well, we've got 2 groups now in Merseyside that are about, one's, as I said, is a capacity. The second one, we started 4 weeks ago and that's filling up. But we've decided until we can get to every region in the country, which is what we want to do, we are starting a national online group. So we've worked out that everything within Alfie Squad we can transfer online because we get so many emails from people saying, can you open in our part of the country?
Sure.
And Alfie's really aware that there's children that really need help because there really is nothing in the whole of the UK to support children. So we're doing Alfie Squad online starting on the 21st of May.
Wow, amazing.
How exciting. And if people are interested, Alfie, and they want to reach out, they want to get involved potentially with the Alfie Squad online or the groups that you've got in Merseyside, what can they do? Where can they go?
so you can go to our website, which is alfiesquad.org. Yeah.
Little sideways look at check with the boss.
I'm not too well trained. And then we've also got social media. We're on Instagram and Twitter, Alfie Squad. Twitter's mainly just my mum ranting about Everton, though. So
There's a lot to rant about, Alison.
Not as much now, actually.
best to stick with Instagram. So we're active on both. And then, like I said, you can send a referral form through the website. And we've got all information about our fundraisers and everything there.
Well, look, it's such a thrill to
It's
see you
a
again.
pleasure to meet you. What a brilliant young man. You must be so proud of him, Alison.
Yeah, he's-
What brilliant young
From
man.
where we started,
Yeah.
it's gone massive.
Just goes to show what
Absolutely.
can happen with
Yeah.
the support and the group and Alfie Squad doing the business. Thank you for coming in. It's
Thank
lovely
you.
to see you both again.
Thank you,
Thank
thank
Oh,
you.
hello. Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning.
Now, we are very excited about this next guest.
Yes, in her first ever live television interview. It's always a little bit scary. Her Royal Highness Princess Beatrice joins us now. Trust us here in This Morning. We are live from the Empire State Building, but we're unlucky with the weather, aren't we?
Good morning, Your Royal Highness. Thank you so much for joining us. You are on top of the Empire State Building. The weather doesn't look too great there, and you're there supporting your charity, Outward Bound. Can you tell us what's going on, Beatrice?
Good morning. It's so wonderful to be with you. And I absolutely promise I really am standing on the top of the Empire State Building in New York, even though the weather looks a little bit grey. I am here to kick off an amazing challenge, which is called the Big Rappel. So I work very closely with an amazing organisation in the UK called the Outward Bound Trust. I've been involved with the organisation for a few years now, and this amazing challenge is a phenomenal collaboration between Outward Bound Trust, Outward Bound International, and Outward Bound New York, and all of our project partners to raise a little bit of awareness about what Outward Bound really stands for. And really, the charity is here to think about what young people really need to thrive in life. And we've been working since the 1950s to think about collaboration, resilience, finding your true self, and we do this in various ways. But nothing better than really sort of taking that example of what the charity stands for and making some fantastic individuals, 25 to be exact, abseil from the top of the Empire State Building. This is the first time this challenge has happened, and it's phenomenal to be a partner of this.
Beatrice, I'm trying to figure out what's more terrifying, abseiling down with a view or into the abyss of fog. How are they all feeling this morning?
I've had a chance to catch up with some of the participants, and I think they're feeling really confident. They have a very rigorous safety team who have taken them through a couple of days of fantastic training, and I think for them, they're really taking this into, taking it in their stride. I think they would have loved for a bit more of a view. I think it's such a momentous day to kind of stand at the top, but it's still spectacular to do the project.
And it's a charity that means an awful lot to you and your family, of course, because your grandfather was involved with it way back in the 50s, wasn't he, Prince Philip?
Exactly. So it's one of the reasons why I'm so thrilled to be a part of the Outward Bound. He studied under Kurt Hahn, who was the founder of the charity when he was at school at Gordonston, and really summing up what sort of he's really strived for throughout his legacy, founding, not only the Duke of Edinburgh Awards, but also Outward Bound, really thinking about what young people need. And fascinatingly, even though this charity's been around for such a long time, that legacy for young people is still the most important thing and at the very core of what Outward Bound really stands for. What do young people really need to thrive? And actually, I've had a chance to meet some of the young people over the years of my work with the charity. And sometimes it's a case of, they can come out of their comfort zones. They're taken on these amazing adventures. And in some stories, they're seeing stars for the very first time. Oh. And that really is what the charity is all about. It's taking those opportunities and giving them to young people.
And how high up are you at the moment, Beatrice? And would you fancy an abseil yourself?
Oh, goodness. So the wonderful thing about being involved with the charity is I've taken a whole charity approach to this one, and I'm really thrilled to support the participants. But I'm gonna let them do it today and cheer them on from the very top.
But today's the perfect day because you don't know how far up you are. It's one step.
I have no idea. No idea. But, the Empire State Building is such an iconic building as well. So it's pretty wonderful to kind of feel the history. It's been around since the 1930s. And, so no better place to collaborate than on the top of a beautiful building like this.
Your mum took a big step into the unknown this year when she joined us on the sofa and presented part of the show. Did she enjoy herself?
She absolutely loves working with this morning team. I think it's one of her favorite things to do. She's such a phenomenal icon, and as a mum, she's been amazing, and she's been through so much, and her sense of sort of purpose and resilience really keeps me going. And she absolutely, I thought it was one of the most hilarious segments I've seen for a while. I watched it sort of half under the sofa and half sort of like, come on, Mum, you can do it. So it was a great day.
Beatrice, how is your mum? Can you give us an update on her?
She's doing really well, thank you, Josie. Yeah, she's had a bumpy health scare last year, but all clear now. And I think at 64, she's thriving. She's been through so much, but I think really now she's sort of coming into her own. I think we're just reminded when any parent or individual has a sort of a health scenario, just really get the checks that you need to get, and as early as you possibly can. And I think both my sister and I are so proud of her for taking those steps to get those checks, and it really modelled our health sort of considerations on that. But we're really lucky in the UK to make sure that you can get those checks as best you can, and hopefully we can do as much as and
Beatrice,
be there to support each other when anyone goes through a healthcare
That's
scare.
been the message from all your family, because it's been a tough year for all of you, hasn't it, across the board? And it's interesting watching you all come together and supporting each other. It's been heavy going, I know.
And will you send your...
There's nothing more important than family.
Yeah, we're all big fans of your mum here this morning, so will you send your mum our love?
It's beginning to look like a Spandau
Of
ballet
course
video
I
at the
will.
moment
I
with that
wish-
fog coming in, Beatrice. We can barely see you. I mean, you're disappearing into it.
I know. I'm still here. Of course, I will send your mum, my mum, your best, and you know, when I'm back in the UK, maybe we could do something together.
Oh yeah,
Hey.
we'd love that. We'd absolutely love that.
Yeah.
You're a big fan of New York. Is it your second favourite city to London?
Well, I had the opportunity to live here for a couple of years, so I've got some wonderful best friends, some fantastic kind of local haunts that I really enjoy. But you know, New York for me, when I was figuring out my life and what I wanted to do, New York gave me a place to kind of have a job and just get on with it. So New York has always had such a special place for me, and you know, and also for Mum as well. I mean, you know, she came out here, you know, started her charity, Chances for Children, back in the day. And so New York for us has always been a great city to spend some time in.
It's also, I mean, look, when you're a member of a high-profile family as you are, going to somewhere like New York, particularly on a day like today where no one can see anyone, it must be lovely to live in relative anonymity over there when you're there for a while, right?
Yeah, and you know, I came to New York for my job, to go and sit in an office and do the things that I've been really passionate about in technology and digital inclusion. And so these are, you know, one of the reasons why New York really kind of created that environment. And I learned a lot. I was quite young when I was here, so I was really excited to have that opportunity. But now very happy to be back in the UK with my family as well.
And do your children spend a little time there, Beatrice, as well with you?
My little ones are phenomenally excited about coming to travel, but my daughter is 2.5 and I haven't yet braved the international flight.
and how are they? And I suppose as a parent, you realise the importance of doing activities like this.
Yes, I'm as a parent, when I think about some of the opportunities that Outward Bound gives to young people, it even more just sort of gives them that sense of determination. You know, young people these days are having to go through so much with social media and with the debates around screen time, and actually we just need to make sure that there are places like Outward Bound which are, you know, phenomenal, offer phenomenal programs to make sure that every child gets the best opportunities to think about confidence, resilience, and these sort of essential life skills that mean that any challenge that they can look at, we can give them and sort of a bit more support. And you know, as I said, I've had a chance to meet some of the students that have been supported by Outward Bound, and even in New York, listening to the stories with Outward Bound schools, I'm just so inspired that, you know, something that has got such a phenomenal legacy is still relevant today to make sure that young people have what they need to thrive.
Beatrice, I know you're not doing your first ab sale today, but you have done your first live television interview.
I cannot believe
it was
it's your first live. Yeah, you're amazing.
Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Princess Beatrice.
You're very kind.
Oh, thank you for joining us. I still cannot believe this is your first live broadcast.
And
You've been incredible.
Lots of love to all the family and everything they're going through at the moment. Okay, take care of yourself.
Thank you so much. You're very kind.
Cheerio.
Take care. Bye, Beatrice. Bye-bye.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. Now, we upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. And we'll see you in the morning.
That Jill Langley has won a landmark court case against her father's wife after she was left out of his will.
Yeah, the will had been written just 2 months before Robert's passing at the age of 94, where he left his entire fortune to his new wife of 11 months, Chelsea, who was 39 years his junior.
The judge in the case ruled that the will was invalid and that his wife, Chelsea, had exerted undue influence and control over him. Jill joins us now to explain her story alongside her solicitor, Kiyomi. Good morning.
Morning to both of you.
Good morning. So, Jill, your father died in 2020.
Yes, that's correct. He died in May 2020.
Tell us a little bit about your relationship.
Yes, I was an only child. I grew up in Billericay in Essex.
Yeah.
I had a happy childhood. My father had a chain of butcher shops. He started off with the mobile butcher shops when I was a baby, and it gradually progressed. And I was loved, and I loved my parents. When I left school, I actually got myself a job in the city, but I gave it up to help my father. I had no brothers and sisters, I was the only one. So I went to work in the butcher shops, packing meat, doing all the menial tasks. And then I gradually took over shops and increased their takings, freezer centres, increased the takings enormously. I worked very hard for Dad, out of love, got paid very little, but I didn't mind because I did it out of love. And over the years, of course, the supermarkets came along and the butchers became really not functional anymore. So during that period, we lived on a farm in Billericay and we came to live in Norwich. I had a cousin and we came to live in Norwich and I led my father into new businesses.
Right.
We had a nightclub and then we had a leather jacket business, which was very successful in the 80s. Of course, leather was very fashionable and I enjoyed it thoroughly. And so, yes, I always got on very well with my father and my mother. I loved them dearly.
So you worked very closely with him and you clearly got an entrepreneurial spirit. The two of you helped create what was a very successful business.
Yes.
Your relationship with your father did deteriorate once your mum got ill and then she sadly passed away, didn't it?
Yes. My dad was, I suppose, of the generation who he didn't have any money when he was younger. He was told he would not amount to anything. So I think that generation, he didn't like spending money. And really, Mum was diagnosed with dementia and Alzheimer's in 2012.
Right.
And of course, as her illness progressed, I went to look after them. I used to go and do all the housework, the washing, the ironing, and just generally, because they lived in a very big house at Wirral, which was way too much for Mum. She couldn't do anything. So I was going to look after them. But as her illness progressed, he was told that she needed to go into a care home, which she did, bless her. But sadly, he wouldn't pay.
Right.
He thought he could have odd carers in. I put lots of suggestions to him how we could have a better life for Mum. But no, he didn't want that. He wanted her at home. But sadly, that's why we're here today. She should have really gone into a nursing home.
But that, sorry, Kat, but that friction between you and your father over the treatment and what was the best care for your mum led to the breakdown of your relationship with your father. So you suddenly weren't communicating, were you?
Yes, well, by 2015, I'd suggested lots and lots of things that would make a better life for them, moving back, because they lived at Wirral at the time, which was about 5 miles from Downham Market. And I suggested they move back near me because Dad lost his licence, I'd be near to me. But no, sadly, he wanted to go to Kings Lynn, which was about 45 minutes away from me. So it wasn't like something I could just pop in. And of course, it broke down a little bit because I was suggesting things to help, but he was going the other way and making things worse. He was getting to a great age and he wasn't thinking correctly.
Right.
So his vision was muddled.
And then that relationship really did start to deteriorate when he met his wife.
Yes, I mean, everything I tried on my part, he was getting angry. He'd gone back in time. He started accusing me of things I hadn't done, and he was accusing neighbours and people he'd come into contact with of stealing things, which, of course, is a symptom of dementia and Alzheimer's. Although he wasn't diagnosed with dementia or Alzheimer's, he wasn't getting blood to the brain.
Right.
So, of course, his thinking pattern was not as it should be.
So when did you find out? So your relationship with your father's broken down. You're not communicating for, as you pointed out, the reasons you've said. When did you find out he'd remarried?
I didn't find out he'd remarried until early March 2020, just before we went into lockdown. I had a letter come through my door. It was a little bit difficult to understand. By the way, just to let you know, your dad got married last year. He was actually married in June 2019. It was a wedding that I wasn't informed of and didn't know about. So we could call it a secret wedding.
Because I think that his wife said that they did try to invite you to both the wedding and the funeral.
No, that is not correct.
Okay. Did also that there's the suggestion that he was trying to write you out of the will before he met her as well?
No, he wasn't trying. He made a new will in 2012, which I was always the beneficiary. But you see, he was such a great age. He wasn't well. He wasn't thinking correctly. So his whole thinking process was muddled, and I could see the mistakes. I worked so closely with Dad that I knew his thought process, and I could see the mistakes that were being made. But sadly, he wouldn't take my advice.
So were you completely cut out of the will?
When I received a copy of the will, yes, I was. The will was left to Chelsea.
Who's his wife?
Yes,
Yep.
and her son.
OK. And what did you do then? What was your next step?
I was quite shocked because I knew Dad inside out, and my thought process, this is not Dad. He'd got family, he'd got myself, 2 grandsons, he'd got a niece who lives in London, he'd got a nephew who lives in Norwich who'd helped him greatly in years. So we had got family, we'd all helped him.
Was he still in touch with all of them?
Yes, Christopher, his nephew, had helped him before he moved to King's Lynn. He used to go several times a week and help with his camper van and do jobs for him.
So they were still in touch?
Yes. I think once he moved to King's Lynn, because he wasn't well and it was as if he'd cut everybody off. Sure. Not from our choice, but, but from his choice.
So
really.
what made you decide to contest the will then?
Well, because of all the work, you see, the estate, yes, it was in Dad's name, but it was a family business and I'd worked so hard. Really, really hard. I mean, I'd been out on markets in the snow at 3 a.m. in the morning. I'd humped frozen food boxes around. I'd up takings. I'd contributed so much to this estate for next to nothing. My pay was £30 a week, and yet I was taking thousands. I was organising fashion shows, and he bought and sold old halls. So I used to be out there with a workman with a wheelbarrow with bricks in it, helping my hands, my husband said, were like sandpaper because of all the hard work I did. So for my part, the new wife hadn't lifted a finger.
It was nearly £1 million as well that he left, which is significant.
Yes, we'd worked hard for that.
Yeah.
So, Kemi, explain a little bit about what happens in this sort of scenario, because the ruling in this is quite a landmark case, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's really important because, as far as we're aware, roughly at least, we've not seen a case with these facts that has been successful so far.
Yeah.
And I think it's really important for lawyers going forward to use it as guidance and a precedent, and for members of the public as well to gain some confidence to bring a case if they have similar circumstances within their family.
So can you tell us in simple terms exactly what the judge ruled?
Yeah, so the judge found that there was undue influence by the defendant and that there was a real lack of testamentary capacity. He shouldn't have been able, Jill's father that is, to write the will, and it was invalid. It didn't stand.
How did that feel, Jill, when you got that outcome?
Yes, for me it was the truth. Because I knew when my father went to make this will, they have what they call the will files. And he was asked to go into the solicitors twice, which my previous solicitor got a copy of. And as soon as I read it, I knew he can't remember his life. He said we'd lived in Southend. We never lived in Southend. We lived in Billericay. He said he was an army major. He was only in the war for the last year of the war because of his age. You weren't allowed to join till you were 18 then. So I knew straight away, Dad, you can't remember your life. So he should never have been allowed to have made that will. And I feel that the solicitors made a huge mistake. There were red flags that were not noticed.
We have a right of reply from his wife's legal team. The marriage between our client and the late Mr. Harrington was one built on love and affection. Our client strongly denies any baseless accusations from the estranged daughter of Mr. Harrington. The court did not find that the marriage was predatory, and we will strongly deny all such accusations. What do you make of that?
I think it's sad, because I think, we went, for an ordinary person like myself, which I am, to take this to the High Court. It was the truth. I told the truth because it was my life, my father's life, and the truth always wins. And I wanted, not for myself, but for other people to be aware that, unfortunately, we have an ageing population. They are sitting on properties that are all paid for, that generation. They have assets. And unfortunately, there is the culture today that they are vulnerable.
Yeah.
And they're often lonely. So, of course, if people befriend them, they think it's great, but they don't really know who
So,
they are.
Kiyomi, if there's people watching at home today whose family members may be, as Jill's just described, vulnerable, and they have assets that would make them sort of attractive to somebody who doesn't necessarily have the best of intentions, what can they do to try and protect them?
Well, I think it's you're definitely more successful preventing a marriage than you are doing anything about it if they do marry. So it is just about recognising those red flags and keeping an eye on your family members that are vulnerable for various reasons, and just try and stop it before it happens in the first place. And if it does happen, seek legal advice, because as we've seen, the cases are difficult but can be successful.
Yeah. OK, well, thank you so much for joining us this morning, ladies. Thank you, Jill.
Thank you, Jill.
Kiyomi. Thank you very much indeed.
Oh, hello. Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning. Start with a very, very emotional headline to start with, which is about Chris Halenga, who was the founder of Copperfield. I was lucky enough to meet Chris on a couple of occasions, always overwhelmed by the sense of life and vivaciousness she had, despite the fact that she was facing this breast cancer diagnosis. Very sadly, she's died, Sonia, at the age of 38.
Yeah, it's such sad news, but she's somebody who achieved so much in the time that she was alive, and she obviously had to live with this terminal cancer diagnosis for about 15 years, so a really long time. And she used those 15 years to really transform the messaging for young women around breast cancer, because obviously breast cancer is rarer for women in their 20s, but it does happen. Yeah. And I think before Chris, young women weren't so aware of the fact that actually, even in your 20s, you should be checking your breasts. And she set up a charity, that came out of her diagnosis. She was responsible, I think, really for kind of transforming some of that messaging, making it much more accessible to young women, trying to take some of the fear factor out of it. And, I was listening to radio this morning. There was a woman who was diagnosed with breast cancer in her 20s, and it's now in remission. And it's because of the messaging of charities like Chris, that she spotted it earlier. So, what a fantastic life. And I think when you hear about these people who get these diagnoses that are not hopeful, but then instead channel all their energy, like the bowel babe, like Deborah, into trying to make sure that other people spot the symptoms earlier, I just think they're such incredible individuals.
Yeah, to turn such a negative subject and make it positive and make a change is incredible.
Every now and then, people come along in your life and you just think, how on earth do they do that?
Yeah.
So for all your viewers now, and I'm not belittling their problems for a moment, just pause and think that this ridiculously young age, this poor woman has died. She's probably achieved more in her lifetime than many of us have gone, double those years. And the proof are in the numbers. Here we are. Last year alone, they sent out 1.4 million texts to people. There were 120,000 subscribers, 3,000 educational packs. That's in 1 year alone. In total, they raised more than £25 million. You just stop in absolute awe. A brilliant life, cut too short, but what a legacy.
Absolutely.
Brilliant life lived.
Absolutely.
I loved she had a living funeral.
Yes.
Funeral,
yeah,
as
and
she
I
called
just
it.
love that idea. It's just incredible. So you're at it. And again, I think it takes someone quite special to face that, because we're all so scared of death and so scared of getting a terminal prognosis, and to face it with that kind of vivaciousness and to do a living funeral the year before you die, it's just amazing, really.
Dawn French turned up as the vicar of Dibley. It was a celebration, I think, and I think that's how we should remember her.
Definitely.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out, and we'll see you in the morning.
Now then, she's known on this show for sharing wisdom, advice and compassionate support. But today, our resident life coach, Michelle Elman, is here to share a deeply personal story that has recently rocked her world.
Michelle's fairy tale engagement turned into a nightmare last month when she discovered a shocking betrayal about her partner just 24 hours after she'd said yes.
You're here alongside us now to hopefully share some invaluable support for our viewers who maybe have been through a similar thing, Michelle. I think this is the last thing any of us expected.
I know. I was here last week, I was sat on this sofa doing a phone-in on friendship breakups, and I guess what everyone behind the scenes knew, but publicly did not know, is that I was also going through a massive heartbreak at the time. And I think I'm doing okay, but I mean, the joke I'd be making with my friends is this what self-esteem looks like? Because I'm doing more okay than I ever thought I would be.
Yeah.
So you've bolstered yourself. Just explain a little bit about this relationship, because you were with your
So we were together for 3 years. We lived together for 2. We met on a dating app. He was my first date after the pandemic, actually. And yeah, in my eyes, the love of my life, the healthiest relationship I've ever had. And then we got engaged on the Saturday, and then on the Sunday, I got a DM from a woman who followed me, who'd read all my books. She had read my dating book about him. It wasn't about him. It was a dating book about how to be single, and the last chapter was about him. And had taken so much advice around it, and then just said, hey, is your fiancé this person, with his name? And that's how it started. And I ended up speaking to her for an hour on the phone, found it all out.
It became apparent they'd been in a relationship for how long?
They hadn't been in a relationship, it was one night. They had texted since. The last time they texted was January, but he was on a dating app. And so he said he was on a business trip, and he went on a dating app on the business trip. And
Did you have, because obviously it was a serious relationship. I mean, you'd gone ring shopping, you'd been together for years.
Yeah.
Did you have even the slightest inkling? Was there something in the back of your mind that was just like, nah, this doesn't sit quite right?
The first question you always get asked, were there red flags? Did you miss something?
Yeah.
Like, I fully back myself. I'm an emotionally intelligent, smart, switched-on woman.
More so than the average bear,
yes,
actually.
And I have every tool in my toolkit to notice red flags. But if someone wants to lie to you and wants to deceive you, it doesn't matter if you spend all 24 hours together, we live together, we work together 3 days out the week. If they want to lie to you, they will. And even looking back, like, wholeheartedly, there were no red flags. I was in a relationship with the love of my life, and the only thing that in hindsight I could have done was go on his phone to find out. But in my mind, as a life coach, the moment you've gone on their phone, that's the relationship over. You've already lost. Like, you don't trust them, and you shouldn't. Trust isn't based off having gone on their phone and checked that they're not messaging anyone. No. And anyway, there wouldn't have been anything anyway, because he deleted it all.
What was his reaction then when suddenly it became apparent that you'd had this message? Because what I can't understand, Michelle, is that you have a public profile. You have hundreds of thousands of followers on social media. You write books. You posted about how excited you were to be engaged. How he thought he was going to get away with it?
I don't think there was a lot of thought behind it. His whole message throughout all of this, even to this day, I spoke to him last night just to give him a heads up about today, is that he loves me, he wants me back, I'm the best thing that's ever happened to him. The last 3 years were the best years of his life, and he ruined it. And he will do anything, to the point where he said, go on air, say whatever you need, do what you need to do, and ultimately he's just said, I'm so sorry, this has impacted your career. And that's his mindset. I don't know what he was thinking, and I don't want to speak on behalf of him, but if there's any justification, I guess, why I didn't think this would blow up is because, yes, I've been on This Morning for a year. Yes, I have 4 books out. One of them's about him, and I have 500,000 followers online. But I live a normal life. Yeah. I've taken this guy to the Brits, and no one's taken a photo of him. Like, for 3 years, I've never shared him publicly online. I have gone to James Bond premiere with him. No one's taken a picture of him. There was even a time where a paparazzi took a picture of him, and I asked him to delete it. And because I wasn't a celebrity, no one cared, the paparazzi deleted it, never posted it. That's where, yes, I was a public figure, but there was no public interest in my personal life. I was a public figure for being a life coach. And that's what I was known for.
And like you said, you know, you are a public figure. You do move in those circles, but you're also just a girl too.
Yeah.
So what was that moment like when you found out? And also, did you confront him straight away, or how did you go about it?
So he was with me when I got the first message saying, is this person your fiancé? And that was the first initial message. And I've had messages like that because actually on our 3rd date, one of his family friends figured out who I was dating because of a picture of a dog and his cat. And so I thought it was a colleague. So I was like, oh, who's this person? Like, this person knows you.
Yeah.
And it took a while to figure out. I guess my first reaction was shock. I was just shaking and I just kept saying, please tell me first. Just tell me first. I don't want to find out from her. And then it was the screenshots of the dating profile. his number, and that's when I asked her for like proof of, like, I believed her from the get-go, but I was like, I need proof he was with me, he sat next to me while all of this was happening, but I said, like, can you just, and she said, told me the hotel, and I said, put that in your email, and that's when it came up. Wow. And then he admitted it to others as well. And
there were other people that he had affairs with.
And that was him, and he had admitted it. But I think my reaction was just, you've ruined a good thing. Like, this is meant to be the happiest weekend of my life. And we were good. Like, it was shock. And I think that first week especially, I was like, am I numb because I'm doing too okay? I've obviously bawled. I went to go be with my sister for a week. I had a competition with my 2-year-old niece of who could cry the loudest. It was really fun. I don't think she realised she was competing with me, but I definitely won. And yeah, I think it's piece by piece, but I think the nuance and the complexity with cheating that I wish we could include in the conversation is you still deeply love the person.
Yes.
The reason why I never shared him is because I've always wanted to protect him. And you could call me fat, you can call me ugly, I've been called every name in the book. Don't care. I'm more than my appearance. Don't really care what you think of what I look like. If you said that to my partner, my heart would break. Like, do not insult the person I love most in this world. That's why I never shared him. And even throughout all of this, I don't want his identity to come out because this is not a story about him. It's a story about me. I want to talk on behalf of women who've been cheated on and say, you do not have to be ashamed. You do not have to be humiliated. You do not have to be embarrassed. And any shame you are feeling belongs to them. It does not belong to you. And you do not need to be embarrassed.
God, it's extraordinary hearing you talk, Michelle. That resilience and self-esteem is brimming through you, and rightly so. I wonder how you feel about this relationship now, though, because, as you say, he's the person that you love most in the world. He's told you he's sorry.
It was quite immediate. The thing with infidelity is if you ever want to stay, you become a protector of his secret, unfortunately. And so the first day I actually...
What do you mean by that, Michelle?
Because you can't... I mean, I told you last week I'm writing a book on friendship breakups. Like, the research has shown the divorce rates are so much higher if your friends don't like him. So if you have been cheated on and you tell your friends, your family, the whole world at this point, that you've been cheated on, how do you have a life together? You can't. And so the first day I only told my sister, who is 12 years older, has a lot more nuanced view on relationships, and one friend who's also going through a breakup. But I didn't tell anyone else. And then it was the next day, it was 4 a.m. the next day, I was like, no, I can't stay. Like, the first day, my headspace as a life coach was, you don't make big decisions in the moment.
No.
It was the next day, I was like, no, you do not return to the person who hurt you to heal you, first of all. Second of all, he never told me the truth. The lying's bigger than the cheating.
Yeah.
The cheating was quite big as well. And the nail in the coffin was 4 a.m. on the next day, I told my dad. And that's the... You can't come back from that.
No, you can't come back from your dad.
I've told all my friends now, also because he asked my dad for his blessing in December. So you really can't come back from that.
No, there is no coming back.
If you choose to stay, and even if you don't choose to stay, I don't judge any woman who wants to stay and work it out. But if you want to work it out, you do become a protector of that secret because you need the people in your life to also like him. And even if you don't stay and you have kids, you still become a protector of his secret because you don't want the kids to hate their father.
Okay.
And that's the part that...
There's so much to unpick with it.
My goodness,
You talking about it's hugely important. Quick reminder that today's phone-in, if you're going through a heartbreak like this, Deirdre's going to be here, Michelle's going to be taking part as well. You don't mess with Claudia.
She's going to arm wrestle
when she goes for it. Duncan and Fran join us now from their home in Manchester. Good morning to both of you. Thank you for joining us this morning. How are you this morning?
Absolutely fine.
Fine, yes, thank you.
Very excited to be with you.
We're thrilled to have you here. When Kat and I were discussing this and your show on Sunday night, we were both talking about emotional wrecks we were, having watched you play, Duncan. It was amazing. How did you feel? Were you nervous going and playing at Manchester Station with all those people around, or did you just take it in your stride?
I take it in my stride. I just love the experience of having a crowd around me, and it's just a most wonderful feeling.
And Fran, tell me a little bit about how you feel when you hear Fran's theme played, or when Duncan first wrote it for you. I mean, I went weak at the knees, so goodness knows what you did.
Yes, well, it was amazing when he first played it for me. I just thought it was so beautiful. And the first time I'd ever had a piece of music played for me, so it was incredibly romantic. And over the years, it's just become more and more relevant in our love.
Duncan, it's fabulous to see you being able... Sorry, go on, please, carry on.
No, I was just saying that we just are a pair of softies, absolutely. And we can't do anything about that.
Well, it's lovely to see. I think one of the things that everybody is so compelled by is this incredible talent that you have. You started playing the piano when you were about 4 years old, is that right?
Yeah, 4 or 5 years. I didn't get the date exactly, but approximately that, yeah.
But the fascinating thing is you never played professionally with that sort of ability because you could play by ear. You were sort of ushered into the world of law by your family and never got a chance to play professionally. So I wonder how frustrated you must have been over the years not being able to play in big concerts like this.
Yeah, over the years, I always had this strong feeling under things that, why the heck am I a solicitor? You know, I'd much rather be just the contrary and have a real musician feeling about myself.
Yeah. And Fran, Mika was on the show, talked about the power of music and the power of the piano and just what it can do. You must see it firsthand that this is almost like medicine for Duncan.
It is. It's a real healing tool. When Duncan's playing the piano, or the piano for him is an integral part of who he is. And music has this amazing ability to bridge over fragmented thoughts and memories and connects with so much more deeper. It's absolutely remarkable. It's magical.
And in terms of Duncan's diagnosis, were you worried that he would lose some of the ability to play?
I don't think that ever crossed my mind. Right. When he was first diagnosed, he was diagnosed as mild Alzheimer's, which is a form of dementia. And we hung on to that word mild. And that's what we stay as positive as we can and just take every precious day as it comes.
And how about for you then, Duncan? How has your diagnosis affected your ability to play? Or as Kat's suggesting, does it feel like it's your medicine, it's your happy place?
I'm happy enough. Fran, I'll pass this one. Sorry, I'll have to pass that one to Fran.
Yeah, it is his happy place. He has great joy playing the piano.
Well, look, we would love some of that joy. If we could, Duncan, could we ask you to play a little medley of some of the songs that you know and some of the songs that you've written, not least Theme for Fran as well?
conduct him when he plays is amazing. Bravo.
I really enjoyed doing that. Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you so much.
Not as much as we enjoyed.
I love the fact the high notes nearly squeezed Fran off the stool as well. She was getting squashed up against the wall.
Yeah.
We can't wait to see you perform at the Royal Festival Hall when that show happens, Duncan. Congratulations on an amazing, amazing performance, and for sharing, Fran, the two of you, for sharing your story with us as well, because it's really, really incredibly inspiring and moving. So thank you.
Thank you.
Lovely to meet you both.
It's our pleasure.
It's a great thrill
Our
for us.
pleasure. Thank you for
so
having
much.
us.
Oh, thank you.
Welcome back. Now, and our next guest lost a beloved husband in 2019. She hoped to find the support she needed on an online group for widows. But instead, Lynn was cruelly targeted by a scammer going by the name of Derek.
After tricking her with affectionate emails and fake pictures, Lynn ended up sending him a staggering £50,000.
Yeah, she joined us now to share the shocking story alongside DC Victoria Hazelwood, whose team at the Cheshire Police alerted Lynn to the fraud. Morning, both of you.
Good morning. Oh,
Lynn,
so thanks for joining us.
Firstly, we're so sorry that you lost your husband. So, passed away. You then decided to join a group on social media to basically find support and companionship amongst fellow widows and widowers, right? So, what sort of take us through the story from there?
So I joined the site and Derek got in contact with me and we hit it off straight away with the banter and what have you. So, and I thought, he knows the emotions that I'm going through.
Yeah.
So that cut the ice there.
What was it about him that you just really thought, oh, I really like him, he's lovely?
He had a nice smile, personality was great.
So you're seeing a picture, you got a picture there, right?
But his text and his emails, kind and a bit of banter in there and what have you.
And you actually spoke to him on the phone, didn't you?
Yeah.
And what would you speak about your day? Would you speak to him every single day?
Yeah, he'd tell me about his day and then I'd tell him about mine. And it would be 3-4 times a day.
Would he be telling you about his supposed past life as well and loss? He'd talk about his loss?
Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
About his wife, and he had one son.
Yeah.
His son ran the business from America while he was out in Dubai, drilling for minerals, etc.
Yeah.
And did he ever ask you about your financial situation at all?
No, but he sent me, the first email he sent, he asked did I have my own house, did I drive, all those sort of questions, which at the time I thought, because I don't want him to think I'm after his money sort of thing.
Yeah.
But in hindsight, when it all came round, looking back, that's where he got all his information.
When you're in the fog of it all, I suppose you're not even thinking about stuff like that, are you? So this is all a sham. Well, I guess I've got two questions. When were you first thinking, I'm not sure about this, and when did he first ask for money and what did he ask for?
So for about 6 weeks in, he asked for the money and it was like £200, £300.
Right. So sort of not enough to make the alarm bell start ringing. And what was he asking for? What was that money for?
That was for money that there was an accident at work and his employees, 3 of his employees had been injured in hospital, so he had to pay hospital fees because they took his passport off him. They'd frozen his bank because he was liable for these employees. And so it all sounded...
quite legit.
Yeah.
And by then, you've created this bond with him. You're talking to him every single day. You even put his picture through a Google search, didn't you?
That's right.
It came back clean.
It did.
So you have got a bond with this man. Although you haven't met him, there is a definite bond. So you handed over that money. When did it become more?
So it started becoming more probably in the October 2021, where his bank was still frozen and he had no money to eat. The hotel bills, he couldn't pay them because the bank was frozen. And it just like snowballed from there.
And is he constantly saying, listen, I'm going to give you this money back?
Yeah,
don't
with
you worry about
interest.
things.
And is he on the phone going like?
Yes.
So you're literally, it's not like a text or anything, you're speaking to him
on
every
the
day.
phone.
Yeah. So you ended up transferring £50,000 of your own pension straight to him.
Yeah.
It's gone.
Yeah.
And there was no... Did you feel like you trusted him that you were going to get it back?
Yeah, because he just kept saying to me, reassuring to me, don't worry about money. I'll pay you back with interest. And I said, yeah, but this is my life savings.
Yeah.
And he just kept reassuring.
But then he wanted more, didn't he?
Yeah.
So then did you try and take out another loan?
I did, yeah.
How much was that for?
50,000.
And this is when the police got in touch, basically, around that time, wasn't
Yeah.
it? OK.
In the
Let's bring in
October
Dita Victoria. Thank you for joining us. So how did you guys find out about this?
So we were doing a bit of research, and as a result, we could see that Lynn was talking to this person. So that's why we've sent some of our colleagues round just to get the story from Lynn.
Are you just constantly probing for scams then online? Like, how does it work? Because who reported this? Like,
yeah, how do you know? I'm so interested.
So we'll just get intelligence through various ways, whether that's, you know, people of loved ones that are concerned about family, you know, family members or other sources of intelligence.
Yes.
And that's so interesting as well, because obviously you've lost your husband, so there's an element here where you probably don't want to open up that much to your family because, you know, you're meeting someone else so soon after it.
Because, like, embarrassed and ashamed, really. Because when do you go and meet somebody?
Exactly. This is the way we meet people now. We meet people online. Did you actually catch the scammer who scammed Arlene?
Unfortunately not in this case.
Is that, but I mean, just to say as much as you can, how hard is it to catch these people? Because this isn't one person, is it? This is the whole, like, you know, racket, right?
Yeah, and each victim, it's going to be different for their circumstances, but, you know, they're clever. So they can get mobile phones, but they might not be registered.
Yeah.
They can use VPNs, which will hide their internet address. So it's then just difficult to try and find the leads of finding out where they are, whether they're in the UK, whether they're not in the UK. So there's a number of factors that can impact.
Lynn wanted to come here and share her story, so just really quickly, only got like 30 seconds, but what advice would you give to people? What should people be looking out for?
OK, I would say ask them lots of questions about themselves because they will be wanting to get loads of information from the victim to use that information against them. Talk to friends and family. That's the best thing you can do because friends and family will pick up on red flags before a victim will. Never give money to anybody that you meet online.
And luckily, you got your money back.
I did.
You're so
very lucky.
Was that the bank? They sorted you money
Yeah.
out? Oh, I'm so happy that you got your money back.
Very lucky.
Thank you so much for joining
Can I
us.
just say something as well? Because it's not just women.
Yeah.
It's men as well. And I think men are more embarrassed about speaking out about it. So that's why I'm doing it as well, not just for women, but for men as well.
Thank you, Lee, for joining us. Thank you.
And our next guests have been happily married for 24 years, but they have a rather unique way of keeping the spark alive.
After experiencing a lull in their relationship, Stuart and Molly Roden-Winter decided to open up their marriage and began dating and sleeping with other people.
They say that the marriage has never been stronger, and now they join us live from their home in New York to tell us more. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Great to have you on the show this morning. Needless to say, we're all fascinated by what it is that you've done, and I know you've written a book about your relationship. Molly, I wonder, 24 years ago when the two of you got married, if you ever envisaged this would be what your relationship would become?
No, I don't think I would have predicted it exactly, but it didn't come completely out of left field. It was something we talked about before we got married, but I wasn't sure if it was something I would ever want to pursue in earnest.
And Molly, you were the one who instigated this, is that correct?
Yeah, it sounds a little more calculated when it's put that way. It was a little more of just a reaction to where I was in life at the time. Our children were 3 and 6 years old. I was staying home with them for a time instead of working as a teacher as I had been. And I kind of just hit the end of my rope and stormed out one night and ended up meeting somebody. Luckily, I'm married to Stuart, so when I talked to him about the fact that I was having this, you know, kind of crush, he told me you should go for it and didn't think it would threaten our marriage. And turns out he was correct.
Was that a surprise to you, Molly, or Stuart had always been quite open about the idea that he's not a particularly jealous guy and this is something that he would be interested in having involved in the relationship?
Yeah, it didn't surprise me. What ended up surprising me was my own feelings about it. I thought I would not ever be able to handle my own jealousy, or that it would just, you know, blow up our marriage. And so the book more tells the story of those first 10 years, because it really was a long process of getting comfortable with this whole, you know, style of marriage.
Yeah. And Stuart, were you shocked when she came to you and told you this, or were you pretty open to it?
I was pretty open to it because when we got married, she had less experiences before marriage than I did. I knew it was going to come around.
Okay.
So what happens then, Molly, when you've come to Stuart, you've explained this, he's said, oh, go for it, I'm well up for this, being part of our lives. I mean, making that next step from it sort of being a fantasy or an idea or a flirtation to being something practical is a big step. How did that go? How hard was it?
It was very hard, and we didn't have a lot of resources. So this was back in 2008. It's part of the reason I wrote the book, in fact, because I feel like there are just so few stories out there of what it's like to navigate an open marriage. So one spoiler alert, my parents also had an open marriage. So one of the people that I really relied on and confided in was my own mother. And she was there. She was the only person I knew who had successfully navigated open marriage as well. And my parents are still married. They're in their 80s, and it's not, you know, about physical intimacy anymore, but they still have their partners as friends. So I had that, you know, really kind of incredible confidant and guidance. And I also, we did a fair amount of couples therapy and individual therapy, because it is a lot. It's a lot to work through.
Yeah, and do you have a set standard of rules? And did they also change as the relationship changed as well?
Oh yeah, everything changed. Everything changed pretty quickly. We had originally, it was like, you can't fall in love, you can't have sleepovers, you can't date people named Ted, and then suddenly, like, everything went out the window because we both dated a Ted. Just joking. But yeah, no, it was. You find out that you try to put rules on something, and eventually, everything is up to negotiation. And we eventually realized that, all right, we're adults, we can handle this, and it actually worked out fine.
So Molly, Stuart was more open to the idea when the relationship first got together. You weren't so sure. So he's probably always going to be okay with the jealousy side of things. It's not his style. How did you cope when suddenly Stuart is seeing other women that you're having to contend with as well?
Yeah, well, the jealousy part was very hard for me. I'm in a very different place now than I was. Part of the reason that I got over it is because I realized that jealousy is just a mask for more emotions under the surface. For me, I think there was a lot of insecurity. There was fear about blowing up our marriage. And as time went on, and as I saw that seeing other people, having relationships with other people actually only made us appreciate each other more, and realize that what we have is so special that it can't be replicated anywhere else. Not that we don't also have, we now also do have loving relationships with other people. That no falling in love rule fell by the wayside because we both realized that wasn't really going to be sustaining to us to have casual relationships that didn't involve emotions. And so we ended up in a very different place now than we were.
Okay, and Molly, do you tell each other everything? Is everything kind of out on the table, or do you keep certain things separate?
Yeah, I think it's more about knowing what the other person needs to hear and wants to hear. It's more about, you know, being respectful both of the other person's feelings and your own privacy. I'm not a person who would, in any relationship, I think, allow, you know, I wouldn't want my partner looking at my phone or reading my diaries or things like that. I think it's important in a marriage to retain your individual self and some freedom to be. And if you have enough trust and respect for one another, it's not hard.
I wonder, Stuart, because one of the things that often that we've talked about on the show as we've come to this interview is that barely got enough time to manage life and my wife and the 2 children I've got, let alone 4 or 5 other partners, 1 or 2 I've been in love with or had relationships with for 9 years. Do you ever get to the point where I just can't be bothered? How do you fit everything in?
I don't sleep. It's pretty much just a steady diet of amphetamines. Actually, no, it actually works out. I mean, it's just like you have friends and you keep in touch with the friends. Like, you basically see each other when you can. And, it doesn't have to be these extensive 7-hour, days together. It could just be a couple of hours just going out to dinner or just catching up.
Does it ever get too much for you, though, Molly? Do you ever think, oh, crikey, I haven't seen Ted for a few months now. I'm getting grief from him because I'm still seeing Stuart and I've got to service Paul as well or go out for dinner with Paul. Do you ever...
See my kids.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Do you ever get, I've bitten off too much that I can chew here or anything?
Yeah, there's actually a term in polyamory which is polysaturated, and I think it's so funny. I have definitely gone through periods of polysaturation where I'm like, okay, tone it down, let's get back to the basics. But one lovely thing about it is that the default setting is very different than it would be in a conventional monogamous relationship. So we're constantly kind of negotiating and thinking about what is it that's going to fulfill us, bring us joy, bring balance to our lives. And we're not just settled into a rut the way I think can sometimes happen in a long-term marriage.
And you guys have kids. They're older kids, grown-up kids. What do they think about it?
Yeah, they're 19 and 22. And so the open marriage started when they were 3 and 6. So they didn't know about it until their early teen years. And, it was hard for both of them in their own ways. They're very different people. But I think it's hard for any teenager to kind of wrap their head around, especially their mother as a sexual being. This is not what we talk about in society. But I think it's important for my sons to know that I'm a whole person. I still keep boundaries. We keep our privacy. They don't need to know everything. Although my older son did want to read the book, and I said, if you want to read it, go for it. He told me he skipped, as he called them, the nitty-gritty parts. But my younger son has not read it and does not want to read it, and I think that's a very valid choice.
I'd imagine that the most important thing for your boys is that the connection between the two of you, Stuart, is as strong as it's ever going to be, and that's not going anywhere soon.
No, definitely not. It's made us better. It's made us, improve the relationship. Like, I feel like everyone's like, oh, it's got to be so strange. It's really not. I still love my wife and I love her more because I know much more about her, and I think I know much more about myself from this experience.
Well,
amazing.
Thank you so much, Molly and Stuart.
There's the book. More is the book that's been written by these guys, Molly, Rod and Winder, a memoir of an open marriage. And there is a lot of fantastic testimonies on the back. This book about open marriage is going to blow up your group chat. Breathtakingly candid. Fascinating, guys. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
All that, though, here's a question for you. Something that many men wish for, but for Matt Barr, being well endowed has affected his entire life.
Matt has Britain's biggest penis, measuring over 12 inches when erect, which is more than double the average size.
Far from being a gift, though, Matt's large penis comes with some equally large challenges, and he joins us now to discuss some of those. Morning to you, Matt.
Good morning.
Thank you for coming in. Many people would observe this and the idea of being well endowed being a bit of a dream, but for you, it can be a nightmare. Is that right?
Yes, I think people have, it's a very insalubrious topic to bring up. So I think people have learnt a lot of myths from pornography and stuff where they don't realise the implications that it would have when you're actually living with the situation on a day-to-day basis.
When did you first realise that perhaps you had a little bit more than some of your classmates or some of your teammates in a sports team or something like that?
I mean, predictably, it was in the showers at school. I think that's when everyone has the first encounter with what anyone else looks like. So I sort of grew up as well before the internet as well, so there wasn't even any real expectation of that stuff, and then had a little a book that my parents gave me about sex education, and then I sort of compared myself to the book, and I was larger, soft than the book said. That was normal erect at that point. I was like, that is... How do you deal with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, as a teenager, it's tough.
Well, yeah, and at that age, all kids want to do is fit in and be the same as everybody else, essentially.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what it is. It's people will make fun of you or, for being a freak, whatever the element is, even if it's something that's beneficial in life in some ways.
Yeah.
It is not what people want.
Yeah.
They want to just be normal. And when you're not, it's an easy point, especially when I was a very shy kid, so it was not easy to fit in.
Yeah, and you kind of want to dispel this myth, essentially, that bigger isn't always better.
No, it's definitely not. I mean, besides the practical issues, I think it does come... A lot of the things people think about, it's more virile, you're more manly or stuff. Again, these are just myths you get because the people who are bragging about it often are... A lot of times people brag about it overcompensating, for example, or they just, they want to promote themselves doing adult work where that is a selling point.
Sure.
But it's not, again... It's not,
in everyday life.
In everyday life, it's not.
Quite
And so for the normal person who has that, well, again, not normal this size, but it wouldn't be beneficial.
Yes.
There is, so look, we've got this ruler with us just to try and illustrate. So this essentially is how big your penis is when it's erect.
Oh, yeah, obviously the thickness is a lot bigger, but yes.
Yes, and of course, we're not taking into the girth.
Which is the real issue.
So the practicalities of something like that, as much as people might go, gosh, it would be amazing to be so well endowed, what is the reality of that for you, Matt?
I mean, the reality is you just have to consider it. It's obviously, I want to say, it's the biggest problem in the world right now. Of course it's not. But it's just something that affects you in a way that people don't think about because they only think about the stuff when it comes to adult content.
Yeah.
People, or pub jokes, for example, lads cracking jokes. I grew up in the time of the Lad Mag when that was like a very much, the bigger is better was the ethos.
Yeah.
And obviously, we've reached the point now where we're not so phallocentric as a culture. There's a lot about women's pleasure and more female voices in the media to be able to sort of dispel a lot of these myths. But certainly when I was growing up, that was not the case.
And you just then mentioned women and how do girls react to it when you're dating?
It's difficult because it's not something you can really spring on people with a surprise because it just tends to scare people away generally.
Yeah.
Unsurprisingly. But also you don't want to be a creep and bring it up early, but it's how do you find that balance?
How do you start that conversation?
It's a big topic to broach.
Yes, no pun intended, but it is difficult to be able to raise that without coming across creepy because it's it's a physical practicality. Obviously, you can have relationships without a physical component, but obviously when, ideally if you're marrying someone or settling down, you do want to know, knowing that's off the table is difficult and, it's not. So
have you found that there are some advantages to it and some women would be interested because they love the idea of somebody who is well endowed?
They love the idea more than the practicality. Because even, say, in porn, there's lots of filters being used, again, it's very small bodies, like camera angles and stuff, so... and a lot of exaggerations of measurements in that. So when they face someone that's actually that size, it's not what they want, even people who are quite keen generally. But there are people who like it just from a bragging point of view, I've done this, blah, blah, blah.
Have you ever been approached by anybody in the adult movie industry to sort of employ it for those purposes?
Yes, it's just not, something I'm particularly interested in. No. I think, again, it's a difficult job. It's real work. It's not for me personally.
Yeah, and I can imagine it being quite upsetting as well if someone kind of approaches you and goes, yeah, I'm completely into it, and then turns around and goes, no.
Yeah, obviously, because people's what's the word? Mouths are big in the stomach is the phrase.
Yeah.
It's challenging.
Or if there's an ulterior motive to it as well.
Yes,
have you ever had that?
Yes, I have been approached by one girl. I thought it was just a normal date, and then at the end of it, she's like, "Oh yes, when I filmed for my OnlyFans." It was a bit like...
So she was using it essentially as a money-making exercise.
Exactly. I think that's the issue. A lot of people do... Obviously, it's only something that usually comes up when, it's a money-making thing as opposed to a practicality.
Have you considered surgery? I mean, it seems a ridiculous thing to suggest, but, we see... women would often have, if they've got large breasts, they have breast reduction to try and make that more manageable. There's physical implications with breasts which can make him really, really uncomfortable. Have you similarly thought about that?
Yeah, I have looked into this. It's very expensive surgery. It's about £15,000, roughly.
Wow.
It's not done very often. It's only done normally in the cases of tumours and things like that.
Sure.
So in the case of normal function, it's not common.
Right. And in terms of practicalities, clothes, underwear, just general day-to-day life, how does it affect you?
I mean, you can dress around it. It just takes a lot of effort. Obviously,
Yeah.
you have to, you know, if you've seen Drag Race, there's a lot of tucking in that show.
Yes, yes.
It's a similar...
So you
thing,
employ
but
similar
different scale.
tactics?
Similar tactics at scale. is
Just
what we
less
say.
false eyelashes.
Slightly.
Yeah.
You know, mine are naturally good enough. But.
And you've also been thrown out of the odd yoga class because people have sort of mistook what they can see as you being a little bit aroused.
Yeah, I think that's sort of one of the real issues in terms of it. Obviously, you know, again, I was wearing, you know, a very baggy shirt, baggy shorts, but yoga, you make positions, and I think people just got the wrong idea, and that's sort of the way it sometimes goes. But again, you can dress normally in baggy clothing, and it's not too difficult. There's custom underwear that exists as well. So
you've written a book about your experience. Tell us about the book.
yes, so I was on a documentary a while ago, and people approached me and said, "Oh, this would be good. You've got an articulate, hopefully erudite, and an amusing way of talking about this problem, which very few people really have. Do you want to write more about it from this perspective? That's a non-adult point of view. It's probably a bit neurotic journey through life with this gift or curse, depending on how you look at it. And yes, hopefully be out next year.
And where can people, if people are interested in hearing about the book, where can they pre-order that?
My pre-orders are available, but the website, biggestpenisbook.com.
So that's your website?
My website for, yes, all the news.
Okay.
It's fascinating, Matt, because you can imagine that the majority of people watching will be going, what an absolute gift to be able to sort of stand there and have, you know, more than enough. Would you say having a smaller penis you would be happier than having the biggest penis in Britain?
Well, in terms of the things people think of as gifts, I'd much rather have, you know, wealth or the good looks of Mr. Ben Shepherd, for example. That would be far more beneficial to me.
You should see him before makeup.
Yeah. There's a
Very
the
different
false eyelashes
story.
like Drag Race, like very heavy. Yeah.
Still, yeah, no, it's not really. Obviously, people are very mistaken about what benefits it gives you in life. So.
And, and as you said, Matt, we can see that you're quite a shy person as well. So to be talking about something that is so intimate must be difficult for you.
Yes, but I'm trying to dispel some of the stigmas. I don't see why there's any different talking about this than for talking about, you know, breasts or talking about any other bodily part that needs to discuss. It's just a medical issue. It's not sexualised. It's just a fact of life.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for joining us this morning. Thank you, Matt.
Yeah, good luck with the book.
Yes,
and hopefully
absolutely.
you can find somebody you can settle down with and have a lovely relationship with and make that manageable as well.
Let's find out.
Yeah. There you
Come
go.
back and see us. Cuddling dogs.
Hello,
I
dogs.
mean, just how handsome is he?
Firstly,
He's
congratulations.
So handsome.
Oh, we're coming up, apparently.
Yeah, they are. Lucy, introduce us to your dogs. Who have we got here?
So this is Peach.
Hi,
this is Trip Hazard on my lap.
Hello,
Oh,
you.
and sorry, Strike is coming to join you.
Strike. So handsome.
Straight in.
I know, my goodness, he can't stand the little ones getting all the attention.
Quite right, too.
And he's a collie, right?
Yeah, he's a border collie, yeah.
And so
Having an itch.
I mean, just the level of training that you have with these guys, even in this studio with us all around and the lights, the distractions. How do you keep them all under
That is the
control?
hardest part, really, of training. It's not just training the tricks, it's training them to be able to, just pay attention to you under any level of distraction, really, I suppose, yeah.
So talk us through your relationship with them. Who did you have first? How have you
Out
built
of
up
these
the
guys, it was little Trip Hazard. He's 10 years old now.
Really?
Yeah, 10 years old, unbelievably. She's one of my babies. She's just 2.
Yeah.
And Strike's 5 now as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you did such an amazing performance.
I was so happy with it,
on
to be fair,
Saturday.
yeah.
I mean, once it's all cut together and
that's
slow-mo.
The slow-mo's stunning, isn't it?
It's so good. And
Yeah.
my 2 little boys were just watching that. They were cheering you on.
Oh, I love that. That's fab.
Were you nervous before you did it?
Yeah, I was pretty nervous, but we did thankfully get a little stage rehearsal in the morning.
Right.
So I thought, you know what? I'll go for that stage rehearsal. And I thought then I can make sure the younger 2 are happy, okay.
Is this the post-performance massage?
I know,
happening
apparently
right
so,
now?
apparently so. And
Cats like this.
because I could see they were very happy in the theatre and stuff like that, I thought, I'm going to go for it. And they were really happy on stage and stuff. But that's the,
We've
seen you in the past.
Yes.
You've been in Britain's Got Talent in the past and you got to the final.
I did, yeah.
Obviously a long time ago now.
Yes.
But you decided to come back. Well, that was with Trip.
That was with Little Trip here, yeah.
So you've come back and the wonderful thing watching the boys commentating on Saturday night when more and more dogs kept coming out.
Yes, yeah.
How much harder is it when you've got 4 dogs or 3 dogs to control than just the one?
Significantly so, yeah, because it's just, you're just hoping that everybody does their part, and that nobody gets a bit distracted or nobody, because they're doing so many things interacting with each other as well, so they're relying on each other. together. It's not just sort of me and one dog. Sorry, he's such a fool.
He's like, more,
and one dog.
More.
Yeah, we have to run everybody's part going right, I suppose. And it did, so we're really happy.
I mean, I do feel slightly ridiculous asking this question, but we have to do it.
Yep.
Do they like doing it? Or is it...
yeah.
Because some people might say, oh, it's cruel.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks as though he's quite...
I mean, sorry, yeah. We do get some interesting comments, though. It's like because people think they look so well trained, it's like they don't understand that they are just normal pets. They live in our house, they're our family. It's a bit of an extracurricular activity for them, really. That's all it is. Like with Strike, for example, you know, collies were bred to herd sheep and stuff like that, but we don't have a herd of sheep. So, you know, people can do bits of tricks or agility or obedience or different things just to keep their brains and bodies occupied, really.
Yeah.
And yeah, the training's all done with treats or their favourite toys. Yeah. So,
Lisa, how do you go, though, from sitting, rolling over, lying down, to hugging, was it Strike that jumped on the back, a trick jumped on the back of... I mean, how do you even go about creating that and doing it?
I mean, it's all taught with treats, and like with Strike, for example, I can teach him quite easily to hug a cane or something like that, or a broomstick you can use even. And then once he can do that, if you've got two dogs that have got a really solid relationship and they're really happy with each other, you can sort of use treats to, you know, I use treats to lure Trip to Strike, and then Strike would put his arm around Trip, and we built it up from there until we can eventually, like, fade out the hand signals and get it on a verbal cue. So, and then it looks a bit more magical then than when we're not luring them.
It's so clever, though. And you do, this is kind of your day job as well, training dogs, right?
Yeah. I do perform with my own dogs at events and stuff like that, but also I do a bit of training for film and TV, so I'm not in front of camera, but I'm handling the dogs that are in front of camera.
Because they're
like
little...
I'm sorry, they're like little ninjas, aren't they? The little ones particularly. They're just extraordinary.
That's some of my TikTok there, that is.
And actually, Trip's been in a few things as well. He was in Ted Lasso, am I right in saying that? We got a bit of Trip in Ted Lasso.
Taught to...
We got that? No?
Oh.
Should have.
Taught to cock... There we go. Taught to cock his leg on cue, as if he's having a wee there, but he's not having a wee, I can assure you. That's a trained back foot target to make it look like he's having a wee. So,
back foot target? I've not heard it called that before.
Yeah, we teach them to target their back foot to something and it looks like they're having a wee. So,
and you did so well on Saturday night. 4 yeses. And then Simon came to the side of the station.
That was magical. That blew my mind.
What did he say?
He said he was so glad I came back. Yeah. I mean, he did ask about how the dogs were trained as well, but that meant quite a lot to me that he said, like, he was so glad that we came back. I thought that was... Yeah, it was really amazing.
The thing is, though, Lisa, as you know, you've got to get through the next stage and then get through to the lives. And it has to escalate. We've seen some amazing tricks from you now. Is there bigger, more exciting, more complicated things?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we put that audition together quite quickly, really. So I really hope we get through because we've got a lot more that we can do.
And
the one thing I was going to say, is there like a mystic trick that you've seen done that you think is the hardest thing to do? Like conjurers often think, or escape artists often think there's the one thing they always try to do and they don't quite make. Is there one that you would love to be able to trick? Is it like a 3-dog stack or something like that?
I've never thought about things like that. Yeah, more multi-dog tricks maybe. Yeah, my brain was already going to individual dog tricks, but yeah, maybe I need to think... Yeah, maybe I need to think like cheerleaders or something.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And do you think you've got what it takes to win? Do you think you can do it?
I do think so, you know, I do think so now. The dogs, I feel like everybody's in their prime. Peach, you're coming to join us? Peachy. Come on, Peach. Come on, you come and join us. Yeah, I feel like everybody's working together really well. Everybody's in their prime. I feel like, I feel really good about it. I do feel really good about it, definitely. Yes, yeah.
Treats.
I know, I've got treats now.
Treats. Well,
like chaos.
You have entertained us so brilliantly on Saturday night, and we're keeping our fingers crossed for you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you so much.
The next one, and the 3-dog stack or whatever it might be.
Yeah. Maybe you've given me some.
Yeah,
that's it exactly. Yeah, you've given me some inspiration now. Yeah.
Love you,
Thank you, Lucy.
No worries.
And the dogs as well.
They're off.
Peach rounds.